Is your business failing? Are you afraid that you're going to have to close your doors? Are you freaked out and don't know what to do to save a business that you were once passionate about? You can't seem to get heading in the right direction. Hey, I'm Cable. Welcome to my channel. Before you do anything else, hit the subscribe button below this video. Today we're going to talk about something really sensitive. I know what it's like to be where you are right now. I remember those couple of times in my entrepreneurial journey so far where I thought everything was going out the window and there was nothing I could do to stop it. But the reality is that we become so emotionally charged about our business, it's hard to see that almost always it comes down to the same thing. So let me tell you why your business is failing and let me help you try to fix it. So number one, when a business is failing, it's always going to be starting with a cash problem, because in business, cash is what decides what latitude we have. How many mistakes can we make before we are totally in trouble? How long do we have to solve the problem? Cash is ultimately, you've heard the adage, cash is king. It's true. We have to have enough cash to survive. So wherever you are in your situation, this sometimes can be pretty dire. We have to produce or create the opportunity for more cash. So number one, what can you do with your current expenses? How can they be reduced? You have to be ruthless when looking at your expenses and trying to mitigate as much of that expense as possible. Especially look at those monthly reoccurring things. It's so many businesses have all these ancillary services they're paying monthly for that you've probably forgotten about. You might be surprised how much cash you can free up. Number two is always going to be, I find, payroll. Maybe that's just because my experience is mostly with service-based businesses, but I can't tell you how often I see service-based businesses where over half the revenue that's being generated is being paid out to employees and owners to provide the service. And usually as revenue goes up, so does payroll, which means that the business never truly gets ahead. So you have to ask yourself, why is it taking so much to improve my service? Why won't my customers pay even more for my service so that I can open up that gap and have be able to compensate my employees well and have a business that still generates a profit? Or why are my employees or my team taking so much manpower or so many man hours to provide the service? If you're in the fitness space, which certainly is where I came from with my gyms, I always think like when we got going, it was me, my business partner, his wife, and basically one other part-time person. And between the four of us, you know, we did everything all the time and we were able to survive just fine and we were very profitable. And then when we started to hire employees, this whole thing shifted, and what took us just a few hours took them dozens of hours, right? And it's not that they were bad people or unmotivated, they just didn't have the same kind of motivation as us, and we were struggling to be able to educate and lead them. So I think this is a common problem for employees, or for business owners rather. So have a look at payroll and ask yourself, like, what do I really need and how can I reduce payroll, because this will be one of the biggest areas of savings immediately. The third thing is, what can I do to generate some capital? So this is the one time as a band-aid where we will sometimes use an aggressive sale. But remember that this is truly a band-aid if you're using an aggressive sale, because you're trading tomorrow's profits for today's survivability, right? Especially in a service-based business, we can sell longer term periods of service in an effort to use the capital we need today to survive, but we've still got to be around to provide that service. Otherwise, you know, our reputation is completely shot. So this doesn't come without risks, but it might be something in short term that can be used to give you the survivability or sustainability you need to solve the bigger problems. This is also where loans and investors and things like that can come in if things are that dire. So we have to be able to have enough capital to survive 60 to 90 days in most cases to have any kind of impact in an effort to save the business. The second thing is customer acquisition, and usually I would say, especially again with the service-based businesses, this is the biggest thing leading them out of business, is that they do not have a reliable method for customer acquisition. It usually involves throwing some sort of ad or offer out into the universe, social media platforms or otherwise, and waiting for people to come. And guess what? That has gotten really competitive and really difficult, and the results are not nearly as predictable as they've been for the last few years. So think back for a moment, like the moment that you decided to open a business, right? What were you excited about and what were you doing that led people to say to you, do you have any products or services I can buy? Can you help me with something? Because you see, like most of us that started our first business, it wasn't because we had this idea that we just woke up one morning and said, I'm going to open a business and it's going to be this and we're going to do this. It was typically something that we were already doing or that we were passionate about or that we knew a lot about. And because of that, we were sharing that message with a lot of people, okay, and giving our views. And we were ultimately providing value on whatever we were an expert on or a product on or whatever that helped them that solved the problem, which led them to go, how can I get this or how can I get more of this? So what part of that revolved on some discount offer? There typically wasn't anything, but for many people, that's where we end up. So we have to look at customer acquisition. Number one, who's selling? Are you selling the product or are you delegating and giving that to the responsibility to somebody else? If you're giving it to somebody else, you need to be doing it because nobody's going to be able to sell your product or service better than you. That has to be that way. If you're not passionate and excited about it to where other people will want it when you express about it or share enthusiasm, you don't have a business, I'm afraid, right? So you should and can be the best salesperson and you need to get super ignited about selling it. Then we need to look at how do we get customers. So in the short period of time, you're gonna have to do what you're probably already doing, okay? Which is using some sort of basic offer. Now, wait a minute, that sounds contradictory to what I was saying. That doesn't work, but now I'm telling you to do it. It doesn't work predictably, as you've probably already experienced. But in the short term, that's what you're going to need to do to solve the bigger problem in effort to keep some customers in. Okay, but you have to look at that pretty ruthlessly and go, what is my return on investment and can I meet or improve that? Otherwise, maybe you shouldn't keep doing it. But as a starting place to do something today, whatever your best offer has been in the past, I would say keep running it while you focus on this next thing, which is spreading the message, right? We go back to day one. What were you good at? What got you into business in the first place? What were you super excited about, your business, your idea, whatever it is that you're an expert? How are you spreading the message these days? So let me give you some examples because this is why you can save your business in 60 to 90 days because this is easier than ever, right? We have Facebook. How often are you posting actual content on Facebook that helps people and solves a problem? When was the last time you used a video like this to teach them something? Are you doing that reliably 1 or 2 days a week? Are you posting 1 or 2 days a week something that provides immediate value for them? If you're in the fitness space, like your favorite recipe that is healthy and easy and can be taken on the go and it's totally portable. It's summer, what can I take with me that's super healthy, that will be good all day and not have to be in a cooler? I mean, that would be something that people could use today. Instagram, another vehicle, another audience, same thing. How often are you posting on Instagram things that actually help people, that encourage them to ask you questions and do more? Your email list, how often are you contacting them? Do you have a YouTube channel like what I'm filming this video for in an effort to help that audience there? In your local community, when was the last time that you reached out to local large businesses like accounting firms or law offices, or some of my favorite were the Rotary clubs or the Chamber of Commerce, in an effort to just get in front of people and teach them something, right? So the point is there's so many ways that you can easily spread the message. And when we spread the message, if you think back to your early days, when people were asking about your product or service, how early in the conversation did they ask about price, right? When we do this, and this is exactly why using an offer as you are now needs to end, and we're only going to use it in the short term because it's a commoditization, right? You're facing all of that, the competitors in your marketplace that are fighting against you to get the same people, and the consumer sitting there going, this is fantastic, I could go there, 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 or there, who's going to give me the best deal, right? But what we really want to sell is you. We want to sell your vision. We want to sell your unique way to solve the problem that you're trying to solve. Because when you do that and consumers go, wait a minute, I like this solution the best, price no longer matters because they can't and won't compare you to others. And that's the really key thing in summary to all of this, guys, is that most, if not all, small businesses are failing is because they are presently promotion-based businesses. They're engaged in the commoditization of their industry by competing on price and continually offering discount offers as their primary vehicle of acquiring customers, which, as you know, doesn't work, right? We need to become back to what got you probably going in the first place, which is to become a relationship business. The downside is this takes time, which is why here is your first and immediate focus. How can we slash expenses? How can we free up capital? How can we get a loan, an investment? How can we use a very regulated, aggressive sale to give us 60 to 90 days of working capital so we can start to focus on the right things? Cool. I'm going to end off just with this when it comes to spreading your message, which will be the topic of a whole video that I should do as well. You need to be speaking to your avatar. So as you're engaging in this, you'll be sitting there going, what do I talk about? What should I share with them? What do I need to teach them? Start by remembering, who are your favorite clients or customers? Who are the people that you want to service and want to help the most? Describe them in detail. And I don't mean this name, age and, income type thing. I mean, find a picture and start to describe them. Who are they? What do they do? Where do they like to hang out? So on and so forth. Let's create that customer avatar, and I'll do you a favor. I'll make another video on that very soon. If this was helpful, give me a thumbs up. I hope you'll subscribe. Got questions, leave a comment, reach out to me. I want to help you. I'm Cable. Thanks for tuning in this week.